I suppose you've said most of the proposed standards were sensible, but the rules would have hidden useful information from parents. Can you explain?
Yes, it would have restricted companies on what, they wouldn't have been able to make ingredient or state any ingredients on the front of the label or protein fractions on the front of the label. They would only be allowed to have what is designated in the nutritional information panel. And primarily, this was a major concern economically for the country because it put the products that we were sending to China through the e-commerce channel at a bit of a disadvantage to European products going through that same channel that were able to or were making those claims. There's some argument as to whether they were allowed or not, but they were definitely making those claims and getting away with it in their home countries. And so, there was a major concern from a number of industry players on what this might mean in terms of their sales overseas and what that would mean for their business here in New Zealand. And so this is why we tried to get a review of that component of it, but was unsuccessful in that, which kind of left, this option. There was a couple of options, but this is the option we went with.
Okay. Did the fact that you mentioned a couple of companies that were concerned, did the fact that dairy giant Denon wrote to the government saying effectively they would pull out of New Zealand at the loss of about 450 jobs if we agree with Australia have anything to do with the decision as well?
I don't actually remember them in the letter they sent to me making that threat or anything like that. It was just they were reiterating the risk to their business, and obviously they're in a position where they could relocate their manufacturing to somewhere like Germany. And so that was a concern. But also, I had other companies expressing their concerns around what they could potentially lose out here as well. So it wasn't just Denon, it was a combination of, there was a number of companies that had a hell of a lot of concern with this. So, and that was the rationale behind our decision.
You mentioned China there, Andrew. The food standards, Aussie, Australia, New Zealand rules are accepted, as you said, in principle by China under its e-commerce practices. Will opting out put New Zealand exporters at a disadvantage there? I mean, are we effectively out of step with international regulations then?
No. Our intention is to basically create our own standard, which uses 99.99% of the FSAN standard. So all the good compositional components, all the nutritional, be world leading there. So no issues with any of that. It was solely issues around the labelling and the ability for our products to be able to compete in that market with products from other countries.
I mean, have you seen what the New Zealand College of Midwives have said? They're a bit disappointed. They believe that parents using infant formula need accurate information about infant feeding, and feel industry information could mislead parents. What do you say to that?
Well, all we're talking about is being able to have ingredients on the front. So it's not about allowing nutritional claims. It's about informing people about what the ingredients are. Is it A2? And it's not for me to decide whether someone's right or wrong about believing that A2's better, A2 milk's better or not. That's their personal decision. And I think there's no safety issues here. There's no claims that this will be superfood for your baby or anything like that. So I think it's just about trying to treat people like adults. To be honest, having gone through parenting and having bottle-fed 2 daughters, would have been nice to actually get a little more information than sort of be treated like we weren't allowed to know any of this stuff and effectively told you're not allowed to ask those questions about formula. There's only one way. To me, that I thought I sort of feel that creates a lot of pressure on parents and particularly new mums who feel like they may be a complete failure as a parent if they're struggling with breastfeeding. We shouldn't be putting that sort of pressure on people. We should,
of course not.
You should be free to do what you like, and
exactly.
you have the information you need to make decisions.